Hello and welcome to another episode of The Pupil's Life. I'm Nick, I'm your host. If you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. It's a Friday night. It's been a week since Black Friday. Spent a lot of fucking money. A lot of fucking money on Black Friday. Black Friday was like, I even remember the specific moment that I think I was at work and I was just thinking, like, should I do it? Should I dive in? Or should I just stay away, pretend that it's a normal weekend, and go about my life and save a couple $100? But practicality got the best of me. I never do these kinds of things. I don't ever buy shit on Black Friday. I think this is actually the first Black Friday that I've ever, participated in. I like that I don't know if people say that, but if they do, I like that that's what we call it. I participated in this mass consumerism event. Well, I did this year out of practicality because I normally don't, and then halfway through the year I'll be like, fuck, it's summer, I need a bathing suit, right? Or my shoes are breaking down, I'm gonna buy a new pair of shoes, and then I end up buying a fucking $100 swimsuit, or $150 pair of shoes. So I thought I would get ahead of the game in this case. Got myself a few trinkets. But, yeah, man, it's kind of, it's frustrating, dude, because everything, once you realize that you're like a kind of like an addict, once you realize that you have an addict's personality, you see it in everything, right? Like, I opened my fucking Amazon on Black Friday at work because there was zero work to do. Because who the fuck goes to a restaurant on Black Friday, right? Smart people, that's who. But anyway, I opened my fucking Amazon thing and I'm like, should I do it? Should I not? And then I started looking at the deals, right? And then it's like, dude, my fucking I need a new razor, right? And so I add a razor to my cart, and then I'm like, oh, dude, there's a buy 3 books get 1 free. I could buy some books, right? And I add 3 books to my cart, and then it just keeps going and going, and all of a sudden I've got 10 things in my cart, and I'm like, new bike helmet, new fucking, a new fucking notebook. Right? And it got me. I don't know. I mean, nothing happened, but I don't know, man. I'm too hard on myself sometimes, and Black Friday was one of these times. I was just like, dude, why the fucking... You know what I did, actually? You know what I did to counteract me being hard on myself? I just thought, I just got, 8 things, that's 8 more things in my room that weren't here before. I have to balance it out. I have to get rid of some things. I have to, lighten the load if I'm going to be adding some stuff to it. And so I got a box, I got a fucking big cardboard box, and I just started throwing shit in it. Shit that I haven't touched in a year or two, right? Like a t-shirt that my fucking, a t-shirt that a friend of mine from college gave me, right? That I spoke to once, or a scarf, a fucking Manchester United scarf. I don't know. I had I had the right shoe of a pair of shoes that I'd just been keeping because I was like, oh, maybe It was like a soccer shoe, and so I was just like, oh, I've got a new pair of soccer shoes, but maybe if I lose the right pair of that, then I can, I can use two different soccer shoes, and I'll have the left pair of that and the right pair of this. Peak hoarder mode. Which, if you don't know what that means, it's like basically like from my understanding, when you're a hoarder, you just make shit up in order to keep stuff, right? It's like you have like an old button from your graduation T-shirt that fell off, and you're just like, maybe this button, maybe I'll need this button, maybe I don't want to. Maybe I'll need this button someday. Maybe somebody else will need this button, and I'll have a button. And so I don't know. I just packed a big old box of shit and dumped it in the garbage. Pretend like I'm not damaging the earth. Just like, I don't need this anymore. Out of sight, out of mind. And I have to admit, I felt a little bit better afterwards. I was like, because I've done this before. I've done this in the past where I don't know if it's anxiety or if it's just like fucking mania or something, but I'm just like, today I'm going to fucking throw shit out, I just wake up and the first thing I think is like, today I'm going to throw shit out, Why am I holding on to this polyester V-neck t-shirt that I wore once, to the bathroom to look at myself in the mirror and see what I looked like? That's the only time that I wore it, right? Why am I still holding on to that shirt? Well, just in case, what if you have to go to an event and you want to look fancy? Well, then I'll wear another one of my fancy shirts. Another one of my 3 fancy shirts. But Black Friday happened. Maybe you guys got some shopping done. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you've got a family and you're like, fucking Black Friday, who gives a shit? I've got to feed my kids. I've got a mortgage to pay, right? Maybe you're just a few years ahead of me on the adult line, and you can't just spend some of your savings on tchotchkes. I don't know why I'm calling them tchotchkes, right? It's just a funny word, but I really just got shit that I needed. I don't even know why I'm making such a big deal out of this. It's like everything that I bought is shit that I am using daily. So yeah, fuck me, right? I actually made strides this Black Friday. And Thanksgiving also happened. I already talked about that a little bit, but yeah, Thanksgiving happened. Who really gives a shit about Thanksgiving? I mean, I'm all for people celebrating. Go ahead, eat your turkey. If you're vegan, eat your fucking tofu bacon or something. Eat your fucking cauliflower rice turkey seasoning mixed bowl, right? Just do whatever you can to pretend that you're eating turkey, but feel good about yourself and better than other people because you're not eating turkey, right? Sometimes, man, I mean, one of my best friends is vegan, but I don't know, man. Sometimes it's like people that are like, oh, why'd you throw those last 2 pieces of chicken away? Like, don't waste food. It's like, motherfucker, dude, have you been to a resort ever? Do you see the amount of food that they throw away? Like, come on, stop bullshitting me with this argument that, like, well, if everybody acts like you do, then nobody's gonna change. It's like, yeah, even if everybody in this fucking world decided, I'm not gonna waste my food, you think the resorts and the fucking conference centers and convention centers and all that bullshit, restaurants, you think they're gonna be like, oh, we've got this rotten shrimp. Let's just not throw it away. Like, like just live your life, goddammit, and let other people live theirs. Um, just chill the fuck out. It's a time to be grateful. You know, you get to pork out, and then the very next day, you just go on the internet, and it's like free shit. Yes. So what are you complaining about? Fucking vegans, man. um, what else is up with me? What's up with you? What's up with you guys? I don't hear from you much. I wish that I did. Maybe one day I'll have like a call in. Somebody call in or somebody send in like a fucking video or something. Maybe I can just prank call somebody. um, no, but I guess what's new with me. Something I decided to do after my binge shopping spree. Um, and I'm still kind of I'm still figuring out why I'm doing this, and not that it matters. You don't always have to know why if you want to do something, especially if you want to do something that's good for you. Fuck why, just do it. Um, but I've decided to give sobriety a shot. Um, and when I say sobriety, I mean everything. Sobriety is fucking, to me, it's even like coffee, right? Like, I don't drink coffee, but like, I'm gonna drink even less coffee now, which is no coffee, no booze, no weed, no ganja, which is the main reason I'm doing it. And yeah, somebody asked me the day that I started it, because I went to one of my meetings, and somebody there asked me, what made you want to try sobriety? And it kind of stumped me, like, not because I don't know, but because I don't know how to explain it without sounding like, like, it's just one of those things that's hard to simplify for people. So I have to really let you into like my thoughts in order for you to understand. But that's what this is for. And maybe you're somebody that is thinking about doing sobriety or trying sobriety, and this might turn you one way or the other. But really, it's two things, really. It's marijuana and it's dating. Dating apps more specifically, because it's, I'm no Don Juan, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not going out on Friday and Saturday nights and getting girls' numbers. I'm just not that kind of guy. But so it's marijuana and dating apps, and I think the two were tying together in a way that, like, they were feeding off of each other, right? Because I tried to quit smoking weed a few times, and I was mildly successful. I'd go like 3 weeks. And when I say stop smoking weed, I mean, like, I wouldn't buy it, right? But I wouldn't buy it, and then I would just start hanging out with my weed smoking friends more, because I was like, oh, I don't have it, but I want to smoke it, so I'm just gonna fucking hit up Ernesto, right, and go fucking light a blunt. And so I remember, like, I distinctly remember 2 occasions on which I went on a date and it was fine, but I felt like, because I don't think that I'm in a place to be dating right now. Like, my life's not falling apart or anything, but I'm in this process of rebuilding and figuring out, like, all right, dude, you went through 2 kind of long relationships that were pretty fucking brutal, and you're dating again, right? Like, what's changed? What do you think has changed that now you're like, you're gonna find somebody else and it's gonna be different? Really? Like, what have you done? You know? I mean, yeah, I wrote my fucking memoir, and I've processed a lot of hard shit about myself, but like, it's been 6 months, it's been a year. You know, it's not even a blimp on the fucking radar. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that I realized I like it became very obvious to me that I had to try this, so that I have to take some time away from my distractions or away from dating and really kind of reconnect with myself. Um, I think the last time that I did that was probably the year that I moved to Austin. Um, and in the sense that, I'm not telling people like, oh, I'm going to this gym. Do you want to come with me? Like, I saw this movie. You should watch it. Like, reconnecting with myself in the sense that I can just experience things for myself. Um, and yeah, not always be looking for validation or for other people's approval. But what I was saying is that I've the two occasions, I would go on a date, come back home, and I would feel like I'm not gonna text that girl again. Like, she probably didn't like me. I could tell, we barely even hugged on the way to our cars and my fucking bike. Yeah. She saw that I had a bike, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna fucking date a guy that's riding a bicycle, right? What am I, in high school? So I was just being very hard on myself, and I was like, "What? Women can notice that. Women can pick up on this shit." And then I would go home and feel shitty about myself because I'd be thinking like, "Oh, what if she is into you, right?" And you're like self-sabotaging. It's just a big old mind fuck, and that would make me start feeling anxious, and I'd be like, "Dude, you know what? Why don't you just pick up some fucking weed, and then everything's gonna be okay." Right? And I would do it, and then nothing would change, If anything, things just got worse. Because the thing about weed is that now, like, and I know not everybody, like, when I say these things, please don't read them as fucking, like, universally true. I'm speaking about my own experience, and if you're somebody that smokes and you're fucking killing it in life, kudos to you, my man or woman. But once you know that you're only smoking to cope, like once you realize that is what you're doing, you never enjoy it again. Maybe if you're out in the creek and you're swimming and you're like, all right, a little bit of weed, like, but even then it's like, why do I need this to enjoy what I'm doing? Why do I need to enter a different, like an altered state of mind just to be okay with where I am and where I'm at and what I'm doing and who I'm with? The truth is that I don't, but I need to put in the work if I want that to be true, and if I want it to continue to be true. Or if I want to get back to that being true, I guess is a better way of saying it. Because the truth is that I haven't been feeling okay with, where I'm at and who I'm spending my time with and how I'm spending my time, right? It's been better the last 2 or so weeks. But it was just like, oh, this date sucked. I'm going to buy weed. And then I would buy weed. And I'm like, I'm going to go on another date. Oh, this date sucked. I'm going to buy weed. And it just was feeding and feeding and feeding, and I was just like, dude, who are you trying to play, right? Other than yourself. And so I guess I was just like, it started with the dating apps first. I was like, dude, I got off the dating apps. And just so you know what I mean when I like there's nothing I'm more sure of than that I have an addictive personality, right? And just to explain how I'm so sure about that is that thinking about deleting the dating apps, the dating app that I was on, it was like, I can't do this, What am I going to do first thing when I wake up in the morning? What am I going to do when I come home feeling upset because of this thing that happened at work or this car that almost killed me on my way home? What am I going to do? How am I going to fill my time, right? It's almost like fucking breaking up with somebody that you don't like. It's like, well, but what, I hate them, but what am I going to fill my time with after that? And then it was then once I did that, a week went by and I was like, all right, this was definitely the move. But I was still smoking. I think it was like the day after I deleted the apps that I just bought weed, Big fucking coincidence, right? Big correlation there. And yeah, it just became very clear to me, like, I'm not gonna, if I just keep like trying to quit smoking by telling myself that not owning it is not smoking, I'm never gonna quit smoking. And so I had to set my foot down and say, all right, if what it takes for me to take this seriously is to quit booze and quit fucking, anything that makes you not sober, then that's what I'm going to have to do. And lucky for me, I don't really have a problem with drinking. And to the extent that, like, I would consider reincorporating that into my life in some future, at some future time, right? Like if a year from now, I don't know. I don't know. Like, let's say that I'm fucking 5 years sober, and 5 years from now I meet somebody and we're hanging out and we're dating, and we're fucking making a homemade meal, cooking a homemade meal, right? And she's like, "Oh, do you want to drink some wine?" I'm not gonna be like, I don't even like wine, right? All I'm saying is that, like, I don't think that's the issue, but I think that's gonna. I think I need to eliminate non-issues in order to really address the issue as well. Yeah, so I've only been, it was on the 2nd. I'm recording this on the 6th, so it's been what, 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's the 5th day. And what have I noticed? I am feeling better about myself because why? Because I am more clear-minded or clear-headed. I'm not relying on these women, these strangers that I don't know, to make me feel good about myself, and then feeling terrible when they reject me or when it doesn't work out. I'm a lot more focused as far as, like, getting shit done that I want to get done. And I don't know. I struggle saying that I've been less anxious, because it's been, anxiety creeps up on me right before bed. That's when it's worst. Or that's when it's worse. Worse? I don't know. Sounds the same. But I've been feeling less anxious in my day-to-day, I guess, is how I'll phrase it. Yeah, because it's like, I don't know, there's something that makes you feel powerless when you know that you need to do something in order to feel good. About yourself, about your day, about, your place in the world. And there were so many times when I would just be thinking like, man, I can't wait to fucking get home just so I can smoke and then I'll relax, right? Wait, like that never happened. I would get home, I would smoke, and then I would just, my incessant chatter would just get louder. But my body would be relaxed, so I'd be like, oh, this was worth it, right? No, because then I would go to sleep at 2 in the fucking morning, stay up late watching videos, just find any excuse to continue enjoying the high. And so yeah, I guess in a way I am feeling a little bit less anxious, and what else? I guess one of the things I've noticed that I'm going to become better at, I've noticed it in small bits and pieces here and there, but I can tell that the honing in on these two things is going to make me, a better listener and more interested in other people. Because before that, it was like going on a date gave me a high that was unlike talking to fucking any person, any friend, right? Because there's always, the expectation of eventually having sex, and then that being like a very intense and enjoyable experience. And then there's also just, it is to me, it is really like a fucking drug, that validation that I get from other people, right? When a girl texts me and she's like, do you want to get a drink on Friday? Like, I haven't seen you in 3 days. It's like, oh man, somebody's thinking about me. Somebody wants me. Somebody fucking enjoys me, right? But it can't always be that. And so now that I know, like, that's just not gonna be an option, it's like, all right, then what are my options, right? Maybe start asking people how they're doing, right? And maybe introduce yourself to people that you had the opportunity to in the past but didn't, because you were like, I don't have time for another person, right? I'm going on dates. I don't have time for another person because I'm fucking going on dates. Which is that's another thing that I'm very excited about, is like, just, I have social anxiety, and now that I'm kind of comfortable saying that, it's like, all right, dude, I can fucking tackle this, and I can overcome this, or I can at least improve it. And yeah, just like meeting new people. I started going to this meditation center, and it's been, the first time that I went, this one person approached me and said, oh, this was really cool that you said this, and what's your story? And then it's like, oh, like all of a sudden, there's a new person in my circle of people that wasn't there before, like that also gives me a high, and not in a negative way, but it's like, it's exciting to know, like, that you're making connections and that you're meeting new people, and that there's this sense that you're building a community, because that's something that I struggle with, and I know a lot of young men, I know a lot of people my age struggle with it. But it's why I hate, promoting my fucking books and promoting myself. It's like, the more time that I spend doing that, the more isolated I become, and the more insular that my thoughts are. Because you're just assuming, like, it's like this whole fucking Instagram thing where they're like, oh, there's not going to be likes anymore. Or at least you're not going to be able to see how many there are. It's because whenever you fucking post something and you get 6 likes, you know, your brain's just like, oh, why didn't this person like it? You know, they haven't really been liking any of my shit. Maybe they're mad at me, right? Maybe they think this about what I'm posting, right? Just because maybe they didn't even fucking see it. You fucking cunt, right? Maybe they didn't even see it because they've got 1,000 people that they're following, and you're just one. And if they haven't liked your shit from the beginning, you're just not gonna show up, right? And so in that sense, I'm feeling more motivated and excited to start rebuilding, building a community. I went to another meditation thing where we practiced this like shambolic fucking meditation style or something. And then we also did a walking meditation, which I'd never done before. And you know, again, like I've got the social anxiety, but I'm putting myself in those environments, and you know, after when I get there, everyone's fucking loud and talking and woo, and it's like my brain immediately, like my anxiety assumes like, oh, all these people know each other. All of these people, except for me, know each other. So I'm just not going to participate, right? Like that's where my fucking brain goes. And not just that, but like everyone knows that I am the only person that doesn't know anybody. It's like when I assume that people are older than me for some reason, which I do all the fucking time, right? Like I'll see a woman that I find attractive and I'll be like, but she's probably like 30. So I'm not going to, like, that's my excuse. But I put myself in these situations and I was just like, all right, dude, it's okay that you're not being loud, and it's okay that you're not participating right now, right? You just fucking showed up. Like, relax, take a few deep breaths, just sit here, just be still, and stop making judgments about what other people might be thinking, you know? And stop making judgments about what you think about them, and just be here. As uncomfortable as it is, just fucking be here. And I was there, and then we did the whole class or whatever, and then after the class, as I'm waiting for my Uber to get there, you know, I'm sitting there, and this person comes up to me, and they're like, oh, I've got your shoes. And I'm like, haha, thank you. And they're like, no, I said I've got your shoes. And I was like, oh, haha, I thought you said you like my shoes. And, you know, then we just start a fucking conversation. And, you know, because people, like, that's some shit that I need to start doing, you know? Just walk up to a strange person and be like, hey, I like your hair, right? Like, did you just get that done today? No, obviously I'm kidding, but maybe I'm not, you know? Who the fuck knows? And I guess in a way what I'm saying with all of this and with the sobriety is I'm trying, and please bear with the term, you know? I'm trying to surrender to life more, and to just let things happen naturally, let things unfold the way that they should, or the way that they will, and stop trying to control everything, right? Like, I could have easily not gone to that fucking meeting or that meditation class, and then that's my way of controlling an uncomfortable outcome that maybe if I had surrendered to, as I did, you know, it presents me with, you know, I met 3 or 4 new people, and then I'll go again, and now I'll feel comfortable talking to those 3 and 4 people, and maybe then I'll meet 2 more new people, and, you know, eventually it's like, I don't know, it's the same as learning a new skill, right? It's like, why do we expect ourselves to be good at something if we have never been good at it, or if we've never tried it, right? If we've never tried to become good at something, why are we expecting ourselves to be good right off the bat? The truth is probably because that is a easy way to convince ourselves not to do it, right? It's like, you know, and this is one of the things I need to work on. I tell my friends and people, you know, I consider myself good at identifying, you know, what people are going through and what might help them, or, you know, just something I think somebody might enjoy, something that they might benefit from. And I do this with my friends a lot, where I'm like, I signed up for a stand-up comedy class that's going to be starting up in February, and I told two of my buddies about it. I'm like, dude, you guys, you know what we should fucking do? We should sign up for this stand-up comedy class together and just fucking, you know, do something spontaneous together. And immediately they're like, I don't think I'd be good at it. Fucking, I don't think I fucking want to be good at it. Like, fucking, that's just like, I don't think that's the way that I want to express myself, you know? Like, it's just like, dude, what the fucking, you know, maybe that's my bad, right? For assuming that they would be interested. Maybe they're fucking not interested in it. But at the same time, like, how do you know you're not interested in it? It's like people that say, I don't know what I want to do with my life. It's like, what have you tried, right? Maybe that's the issue, is that you're just thinking like, nah, I don't want to try archery, because, like, who gives a shit about archery these days, right? Legolas. And then you're like, golf, that's for fucking pussies. You know, like, I'm just gonna watch Netflix, and maybe I'll watch a movie that'll inspire me. Yeah, good luck with that. Good fucking luck with that. Not to say, you know, that, you know, watching Netflix is bad or anything. You know, we all go through whatever we need to go through. But if you're trying to find the answers, and if you're trying to figure some shit out, then then all this applies to you, right? If you're just going through a hard time, then fucking fuck me, right? Like, you know, I wish you the best, and send me an email about it, right? Maybe we can chit chat about it. But yeah, I'm trying to surrender to life. And I mean, I'm still figuring out what surrendering to life even is. But for anybody that's interested, I just read a book. I finished reading a book called The Surrender Experiment, by Michael A. Singer, Singer. I'm not gonna fucking pretend that it's pronounced some other way. And it's this dude's fucking life, right? This yogi meditating dude who started like a multi-million-dollar company, just had like a super successful life, but was also, you know, he almost went to prison, wrongfully so, and you know, a lot of terrible shit happened in his trajectory, and every time that those things happened, he just was like, this is also a part of my experience on this earth. And you know, in a way, I've said that to myself before, right? Because there's always, you know, the one time, I think, when people kind of justify suicide is like prison, right? They're like, oh, bro, like, no fucking doubt. If I was going to prison, I'd fucking shoot myself in the head. Like, no fucking doubt, right? I'm not going to get butt fucked, right? I'd rather just shoot myself in the mouth. But even then, like, I've thought about it, like, would I kill myself if I, you know, if for whatever reason I was, like, convicted and went to prison? Like, or could that just be, you know, look at the fucking miracle that life has presented me with, that I get to experience this crazy fucking thing that we call our judicial system or our prisons or whatever. It's like, who am I to say that that's not worth experiencing, right? I'm not God. I'm not some almighty being. And yeah, so I always told my friends, like, I don't think so. Like, even in that case, it's like I could probably learn something if I went to prison. And, you know, I could fucking definitely learn some shit if I went to prison. Because what I've learned in my life has all come from trauma or scary things, scary experiences, right? I once got fired and broken up with, like, in the same 2 days. And it's like the two pillars of my life were just pulled out from under me. And you know, I'm still here, right? And I learned some shit. You know, I learned that I can endure something that heavy and still make it through. But yeah, so I'm starting to surrender to life, and the book is called The Surrender Experiment. I highly recommend it. If anybody's interested, look it up. It's by Michael A. Singer. It's a quick read. It's a fucking simple book, but simplicity is sometimes the most complex thing to look at. And yeah, so then that's another thing, like, now that I'm not smoking and now that I'm not, like, you know, I'm rediscovering my passion for things that I had still been doing, but kind of on default, right? Like, I'd still been reading, but it was just like, all right, like, I'm just gonna fucking do it just to check it off the list. And now it's like last night, I remember I was excited to go to sleep because I knew I was going to read before bed. And I knew I was close to finishing this book, so I was like, dude, fuck yeah. I'm definitely going to finish that book tonight. Like, how fun and how exciting that I'm going to get to learn more about this man's journey. Especially because meditation is another thing that I'm trying to get into. And I'm also paying attention to, like, I'm not just like, I'm not going to date or smoke or drink, but I'm going to start filling my time just with a bunch of other random shit, right? Like, these are all things that I've really wanted to do or that I have been doing and that I just haven't been taking as seriously or that I want to start taking more seriously. And meditation is one of those things. You know, recently I doubled my time that I've been doing. And like I said, I've been going to these group things where you're meditating with other people in a fucking temple. And it's just crazy to me how true it is. You know how they say, like, you want to fucking work out? Stop trying to find the perfect gym. Just fucking go outside and go for a walk. Go, you know, your fucking apartment complex probably has a gym. Go fucking start there. And I had always been like, oh, dude, I want to go on a fucking meditation retreat, 10 days in the fucking woods. You know, just do this crazy spiritual experience, man. And what do you know? There's a fucking meditation temple, like 10 minutes from where I live. So yeah, it's like there's always excuses, and I wish that I could understand. I mean, I understand that, like, you know, why didn't I find this meditation center earlier? Why did it take me 4.5 years of being in Austin to finally go to this meditation center? And or why did it take me 6 months, right? If we're counting from the breakup, or 6 or 7 months, I don't know. Why did it take me 6 or 7 months to finally pull the trigger. I understand that it's because, you know, there are emotions that are too difficult for you to feel, and you kind of have to work your way through the distractions, you know, until you get to that point where you feel like you can do it, I guess. But even that, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. Like, I wish I knew more about what happened that made me be like, fuck it, dude. Tonight is when I'm gonna do it. Right? After 6 months, it's like tonight is just, you know, fucking day 180. You know, today is the day when I'm gonna finally cross it off of my to-do list that's been glued to my fucking calendar for 6 months. I really wish I understood more about, like, psychologically what is happening in the brain when people just kind of get out of that funk, right? Because, you know, sometimes it takes somebody that really loves you calling you out and being like, you know, you need to be like, was it fucking, I think it was Joe Rogan, you know, he told a UFC fighter that was a close friend of his, he was like, dude, stop fucking fighting. You're going to kill your brain. And, like, as a friend, I love you. You got to stop doing this. Trust me, blah, blah, blah. And when it's coming from a good place, I think sometimes the message is easier to internalize. But all that to say, I've been noticing something that is becoming kind of a pattern in my meditations. And I've read about that this is normal, this is supposed to happen, but it's, fuck, dude, it's so annoying. It's so frustrating. Because I'll sit down and, you know, close my eyes, start fucking taking deep breaths and all that bullshit. And then I'll just think, like fucking, what was it last night? It was, oh yeah, I've got to call Chase to make sure, like, this is going to sound crazy, but for some reason I just knew, or I was told by Chase that when I turned 24, I was going to now be charged a fee for holding my same checking account, right? And all of a sudden, I'm just fucking sitting in my bedroom meditating, starting to meditate, you know, starting to do something, and my brain is like, you gotta do this, man. You know, fucking, you gotta do this. You know, stop doing meditation. You gotta get up and fucking do this. Or at least get up and write it down, because you're gonna forget. Because you're gonna fucking forget. And it's so fucking frustrating, because it's so hard for me not to want to just, you know, just fucking, just pull out your phone, boom, boom, boom. There we go. All right, now I can meditate. Now I can relax. But it's such bullshit, because you're never going to relax if you keep feeding that, like, impulse. And I've talked about this a little bit before, you know, scratching that itch, and how meditation has teaching me not to always need to scratch that itch, right? Sometimes I can just have an itch. Sometimes I can, maybe I forget, and if I forget, all right, maybe I'm going to be charged $40 by the end of the year, or some bullshit. But if it's really important, am I really going to forget? It's just crazy, though. Like, I don't even know if that's, like, the definition of anxiety or something, or it's kind of like a metaphor for my fucking life, right? It's like I'm never satisfied with my present, you know, with what I'm doing, because I'm always thinking that it could be better, or I'm always thinking that it's gonna get worse, or I'm always thinking, oh, I'd rather be there, or I'd rather be doing this. You know, when I was in Mexico City, before I went to Mexico City, I remember I was thinking, you know, like, fuck, man, I can't wait to go to Mexico City, because then I won't be in Austin. And I won't be thinking about all the shit that I'm thinking about when I'm in Austin. And then I went to Mexico City, and what happened is that I was like, fuck, man, I can't wait to be in Austin again. And, you know, start focusing on my health and yada fucking yada. Like, right? It's like, I have a hard time just being okay with what is in front of me. And it's like, dude, this is a very clear indication that meditation is what I need to do. One of the things I need to do. Because I sit down, I close my eyes, and it's like, oh, dude, your water bottle empty. You got to refill it. You know, you're going to forget. You're going to forget to refill your water bottle. You're going to lift it up in 10 minutes, and it's going to be empty, you piece of shit. Like, you're not going to forget, right? You're going to need water, and then you're going to be like, oh, it's empty. I can put some fucking water in it. I don't have to stop what I'm doing and then go and refill it, you know? But that's the brain, that's the mind convincing me that that right now is not enough. And so yeah, that's been very, very fucking frustrating, but also interesting to notice. And it's just like, oh my god, dude. I've had this conversation with a few people, and it's so frustrating having this conversation. Like, you know, I'll be like, yeah, dude, it's so frustrating to meditate because I'm just thinking, like, I don't want to be doing this right now. I want to be refilling my fucking water bottle. And they're like, dude, well, have you thought about just, like, doing what you want to be doing and just, like, you know, accepting yourself for what you are, you know? And just, like, if you don't want to meditate, like, just don't. And just be okay with the fact that you don't want to meditate. It's like, motherfucker, if all we did was shit that we told ourselves we wanted to do, we would all be obese, anxious, and fucking, you know, isolated, right? Like, you know, we would all be just, you know, nobody would work, right? So it's like, do you want to go to your fucking 9 to 5 and sit at your office and for 5 hours after you finished all your work and just, like, not do anything but pretend that you are, and, like, kind of glance at your phone, and then, like, you see your boss coming and you're like, oh, fucking pretend that you're writing an email, right? Put in your grandma's email address and just start typing her a letter, a business letter. I don't know. But you can't just look at it that way. Like, yeah, you got to do things that you enjoy, but you know, sometimes you got to put in the fucking work too. Sometimes you got to do shit that doesn't feel super good at the beginning in order to develop that habit, or in order to feel like, you know, in order to make progress, right? It's like, if you want to get good at something, you're not just going to develop that skill without a little bit of suffering or a little bit of failing. And so I'm really glad I'm doing it, and it's these moments where I notice myself like, oh, dude, like, fucking, I've got a whole fucking list right here, you know? It's like, yeah, I wrote drum lesson ? Right? Like, the fuck does that even mean, right? I was just sitting down, closed my eyes, I'm like, all right, dude, you gotta meditate, and then my brain's like, dude, you know what you should do? You know what would be fucking cool, bro? You should learn to play the drums, right? And I'm like, oh, motherfucker, like, that sounds super fun, bro. Like, I should definitely learn how to play the drums, right? I could probably release some of my anger. I could fucking, you know, I think about 10 different reasons why that's now something that I should do. And it's like, but if you don't write it down, you might forget, right? You might forget that you want to learn how to play the drums, right? Like, how fucking retarded is it that is what I'm telling myself, right? It's like if I was like, dude, you know what? I'm gonna fucking like. It's like if when I dropped out of college and I was like, I should move to Austin. You know, just fuck it. I should just move to Austin. It's like if in that moment I was in class taking a test and I was just like, oh, but if I don't write it down, then I might forget that I want to move to Austin, right? Like, I don't know, dude. The brain is just fucking weird in that way, and I don't know. I'm also fascinated by like how much I was unaware of all of this when I was in high school, right? Like, I remember sleepless nights. Oh, plenty of sleepless nights. I thought 5 hours was all you needed to sleep in high school. So I would just be like, dude, fuck yeah. Fucking new Tom Hanks movie? Sign me up, right? 11 p.m., new Tom Hanks movie? Sign me up. How long is it? 2.5 hours? I don't have to be at school until 7, right? It's 11 p.m. right now. That means I can be in bed by like 2. Or just play video games, you know, and like think that I can play video games from like 6 to 10 and then be like, I'm going to try and go to bed now after 4 hours of like intense stimulation. I don't know, dude. It's just so fucking frustrating that I didn't know any of this in high school, because I feel like I would have excelled in school if I had understood myself a little bit better. I think my relationships would have improved if I had, you know, taken the time to be present and not be on my phone and not be fucking constantly like in contact with everyone all the time. And also realizing like, oh, everybody's going out to this thing, but you've been going out for the last 3 weekends. Like, maybe just stay home and read a fucking book and know that if you're feeling like sad if you don't go, like missing out kind of thing, like that's okay, right? Like, I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. I just think it's crazy how much high schoolers and kids just 0 to 18, how much kids don't know. Yeah. You don't know what you don't know. And I just find it insane the amount of shit that they are being taught that they don't need to know. Right? Especially like nowadays. You know, you're going to teach me about fucking Andrew Hamilton? Motherfucker, I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be the next president of the United States or a historian. I don't need to know this shit, right? Teach me about mental health. Teach me about sex. Teach me about relationships. Teach me about, you know, my options in relationships. I didn't know that you could be in an open relationship until I was like 19 and a half, right? I don't know, man. It's sometimes I wish that I could like sometimes I wish that there was a school for children like that, you know, that was teaching them useful shit. And I know there's a bunch of people right now like, but school is a big part of our education as humans. It's like, nah, is it really? Like, do you not know that human beings just learn like pretty intuitively on their own? They don't need a lot of guidance. They just need not to be fucking reprimanded when they're actually showing an interest in something they like, right? Like when I'm making my friends laugh, just because you know the room isn't in total fucking silence while we're working on an assignment on our own, doesn't mean that you need to tell me like you can't do that, right? You know, just because, right? Just because of a fucking rule that you made up right now, like, I don't know, dude. I hate school, and And I hate that so many people orient their entire lives around school, right? You ever meet one of those people that when you bring up an opinion like the one I'm bringing up right now, they're like, you're absolutely wrong. You're just wrong, because school is the foundation of all our education, and if you don't get educated, then you're not going to get a job. And it's like, you just want to fucking smack them in the face right then, to be like, and just fucking teach them, right? You just want to fucking like smack them in the face and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. But you can't, right? Because then you'll get Me Too'd or some shit. That's what I liked about The Irishman. I feel like we need Irishman and fucking the Joker, right? It's like, just like fucking one of these, Italians slapped each other all the time, and it was out of love, right? Maybe I'm slapping you out of love because I want you to realize how fucking ignorant you are if you think that school is the only way, right? I'm not saying school isn't a way, but we're not in the 1920s anymore, man. Like, there's more out there than just a fucking office job or a fucking degree, right? Like, start a fucking podcast, start a fucking YouTube channel, start a TikTok for all I care, right? Do whatever you want to do and stop believing all this bullshit, dude. I don't know. You gotta focus on yourself again. Remember, it's not about others and their decisions. It's about you and yourself. And your mantra is gonna be, I love myself, right? Just take one deep breath after another and remember that we are floating through space and infinity. And this will end. And try not to have a fucking anxiety attack when you realize that. That's somehow supposed to be reassuring. It's like, just remember, dude, that like you're on this fucking ball that's spinning through black infinity, and you're just gonna die at some point. It could be tomorrow. It could be 100 years from now. Maybe it'll never happen, right? Maybe you're gonna live on in somebody's hard drive. Oh, thanks, man. I feel a lot better now that this person rejected me. Thanks, man. Yeah. I don't know. How much am I at on time here? Oh, fuck yeah. I just crossed the hour mark, so that's all I've got, people. If you're anxious, if you're going through a rough time, just know. Come on, just believe that there is going to be light at the end of that tunnel. And yes, try and stay positive. Try and fucking do something that scares you this week. It could be small. It could be like sit down to meditate for 5 minutes and don't get up to write that you need to refill your coffee mug, because you're going to forget if you don't. Or it could be something big, maybe go outside and just go on a walk, right? Maybe all the shit that you're telling yourself is super important, that you need to get done, maybe it can wait a half hour. So yeah, as always, thank you for listening, thank you for... Yeah, thanks for checking in on me. And, the podcast should be up on iTunes by the time that you hear this. And it should be back on SoundCloud by the time you hear this as well. So, we're making improvements, right? Someday we'll have video for this, so you can see my ugly fucking mug. As I recline on my fucking chair, like the unstill, or the what's the opposite of still? I don't fucking know. I learned 2 languages growing up. All right, give me a fucking break. But yeah, thanks for checking in, and have a good week.